Welcome to the rinks in Hauppauge for the final game of the night between these two squads, the Middle Country Cougars and the St. Anthony's Friars, closing out tonight's matchup. Benjamin Bonadia will be between the pipes for St. Anthony's as the Friars look to move to 7-1 on the season and the Cougars look to avoid dropping their 7th through 8 games. Welcome everyone, my name is Jack Ziskin. I'll be taking you through the call tonight as a short-handed Cougars squad with just 8 skaters takes on one of the top teams in the Suffolk County High School Hockey League. Again, thank you for joining us. As many of you know, Friars sitting at 6-1. They are, or rather have, a chance to move into second if they can beat East Islip here tonight. 3 teams with 6 wins, and East Islip with an overtime win among them. Bulls sitting at 9-0 this season with an overtime win. They're at the top of the standings. They broke the Friars' lead over. Rather, they broke the Friars' previous county championship streak, as we, apologies, had to fix a couple things on my headset there, but Friars went 2 in a row. Bulls break it up 2 years ago. Friars come back, win the whole thing again. They ride off into the sunset. This time around, they're going for their second straight two-peat. It would give them 4 championships in the last 5 years at the county level. So this is a big season for them. It's a big season for both coaches, both rosters, as head coach Bob Lund, all his squads tend to do is win, and here tonight they'll have another chance to do just that. And for a Middle Country team that has fielded a varsity squad in each of the past 2 seasons, with a brief hiatus where Longwood spelled them in the varsity standings, they are back now and better than ever. One of 11 teams this season, including Pat Med, the only winless team. So for Middle Country, this is just about building on what Harold Stauffer started last year when they returned to the varsity division. They have some solid players, E. McGee, Denklin, Monkwitz, and we're underway with the aforementioned Monkwitz moving it along. And now here come the Cougars in transition. It's a Friday night showdown in the Suffolk County High School Hockey League. But here come the Friars. Tommy Azariti, his shot through the screen ends up careening wide. Now here comes St. Anthony's again, circling. Real strong roster this year. Some returners in Azariti and Sorrell. Also having some real strong players and guys like Ryan Riggins who've been big boost for this lineup. Of course, here tonight, no Sorrell. That shouldn't be a problem against a shorthanded Cougars squad. We've seen just about a minute of this game. And right now, it's really just been a lot of back and forth hockey. Cougars aggressive early, and here they come, a chance. They fire, that shot's turned aside. Thrown out of the zone, racing after it. Here come the Friars, but it's recovered nicely. Ryan Riggins unable to win that foot race. Cougars program that had to rebuild after leaving the varsity level. They're in year 2, and you can see how much faster they are this time around. It's really a different program in terms of the type of talent they have and what they're able to do with it. Here come the Cougars, 2-on-1 shot, and that one's gloved. Bonadio that time with the glove, and quick start for the Cougars. Able to get some things going here in the early goings. Ensuing draw is won by St. Anthony's. Again, battling near the top of this loaded Varsity division, a lot of contenders this time around. Friars' road back to the top is far from certain as that one is sent the length of the ice. Big thanks to my producer here tonight, Rowan Lodek. She's running everything on the ground, excuse me. And I'm just remoting in just a spot starter here tonight on the LI Sports Networks. Thank you for bearing with us. Just one crew member at the rink today, so one camera, one scoreboard, everything. Cougars going D to D. Sending that one down, and no icing on the play. Friars will look to regroup, and here they come in transition as Cougars keep them to the outside, at least initially. And a turnover is forced. Here comes Middle Country. A chance at a 3-on-2. Friars with the turnover. Cougars settling it and just spinning away from pressure. Here comes Monkwitz. Fires. That one's wide of the cage. Eventually comes out. St. Anthony's in transition. Is going to flip this one towards the net. Middle Country recovers. Just under 3 minutes having gone by in this period. Both teams in the feeling out process as here comes Azarisi. Toe drag, his move towards the net ends up coming and going without a shot. Second chance trying to get it towards the front. Once again, unable to get much to happen there. Bonadio in goal for the Friars. It's the only netminder who's faced a shot. Still waiting for them to put the Cougars goaltender in as that shot is turned aside. Four minutes having gone by in this period. Cougars throwing that one towards the front. Puck comes back out towards the point, ends up with the Friars regrouping yet again. Nothing to write home about so far here tonight. St. Anthony's with possession, looking up ice. Nice little stretch pass there, and give and go walk in. Here come the Cougars again. This shot off the glass and collected in the last second by St. Anthony's. Thrown around the wall. Middle Country says thank you very much. That shot is on goal and it's gloved by Bonadio. .05 remaining. Goes up with one. Minkwitz, the shot is blocked, and that one ends up back in the corner. Dancing again, Monkwitz. The shot ends up going wide. Eventually comes out of the zone. Both teams battling for it, just going back and forth through neutral. There's a weapon just to dump that one in. Not on goal, is turned aside, rebound is loose. And the Cougars strike first. It's 1-0. We're going to see it on the replay here. Apologies, is having a little difficulty with my monitor, so we're going to see the replay as Just comes to the back door. Easy money for Steven Graziano, and it's 1-0 Middle Country. Not the start the Friars expected, it's the start they have as they come racing down right afterwards and looking to respond. Both teams battling for it. Apologies if there's a bit of a lag on my end. We're having a bit of a connection issue with the remote broadcast as I am not starting here as the announcer from Tennessee. So my apologies as we just try to get this sorted. And play will continue. Friars heading up ice. And play wide and Friars with Jake. Puck comes out towards the point, and the Friars get it back after the Cougars nearly get it clear. But now here comes Middle Country. Coming up ice. Outside looking, jump on. Unable to make anything happen. Back towards the point. Monkwitz's shot is redirected. Again, apologies as I'm now finally seeing more players than pixels on my screen. So I wasn't saying names, that's why. I just literally could not see them. Now here comes Azariti, 19 in white. That shot is turned aside by Andrew Martins, the starting netminder here tonight. Graziano's goal assisted by Michael Martorello and Andrew Kangema. Martorello spent some time with the PatMed JV squad, ended up here at Middle Country for his varsity season. Here come the Friars yet again. Looking to circle. Both teams appearing pretty evenly matched early on. A bit surprising given how short Middle Country's bench is, but the Friars look for the zone entry, trying to level things out. Now here comes Middle Country in transition, a chance. Looking ahead, coming in 1-on-0, shot! And it's turned aside by Bonadio. Play will continue now in the right wing corner as we again experience technical difficulties. The 1-0 hockey game. We can make that much out as we just try and sort some things out. We're going to take a couple minutes to try to get everything sorted. Face-off is controlled by the St. Anthony Friars. And then chance, and that one is turned aside by Martins. Puck ends up in the opposite corner, ends up going all the way down. No icing on the play. Friars with a chance in transition, but they lose it. Regrouping now. Throwing it up the strong side wall, and that ends up a Middle Country recovery, entering that shot that just flipped towards the netminder, Bonadio. A nice little chip play, but now here come the Friars. A shot and a save off the stick of Nicholas Busta and denied by Martins. Dominic Tartaglia in the circle wearing 61 in white, taking that number from the now graduated James Fendorf, who won a ship with his Friars team last year, and Tartaglia certainly hopes to do the same. Friars now regrouping in transition on the attack, driving towards the net, but unable to get through that time was Daniel Smith. Very new look Friars roster this year. Here come the Cougars. A chance, a shot, and Bonadio makes the save. .436 remaining. Face-off is one back, and that shot goes well wide. Cougars with another chance, but Friars unable, or rather Cougars unable to make something happen. Now here come the Friars on the attack, and they score! And you're going to see it here as just wheeling up ice, a lot of speed, and really great move from Tommy Azzariti. Whenever the Friars have needed a big goal over the last 3 years, even if it wasn't Azzariti who scored, you can see him do that. I believe that was first time. He's always been around it, and right now he's the reason this game is tied with 4:17 in this hockey game. Back and forth we go on the LI Sports Network 1-1. That one goes in length of the ice to get icing. Friars win it back. They win it back a little too far. They go D to D in neutral. Now resetting. Towards the front, that one they don't connect. 3:33 now remaining in the period. We'll reset a couple things on our end at the period. Hopefully get a little bit more consistent. My apologies for that as Azzariti dumps it in. Cougars regroup. If you remember me from 2 years ago, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. My apologies for that. Cougars down, but not all the way. Friars will reset. And now heading to 22 teams. They picked up some momentum here after a really slow start by the and of course, when you're talking about the St. Anthony's Friars, the standards are, well, pretty high. Sent towards the front, ends up at the back door now. Circling is Catallo. Took that number from Gerard Nealon, and his shot was gloved pretty easily by Martins. Taking a look for the St. Anthony squad, really different looking group. Sorrentino on the roster, Riggins really playing big roles this year, and that one's one back to the point. Shot is turned aside by Martins, and the rebound is corralled by Munkwitz. A key piece last year, riding shotgun, for lack of a better term, to Harold Stauffer, who put up tremendous numbers on Middle Country, and now Friars circling. That shot towards the front was missed and now thrown back around the wall. 11 teams this year. Looks like everyone's only going to play twice, which is definitely an advantage. One of the few situations where you want to have 11 teams. You don't exactly want that in fantasy football, but you want it here. Thrown towards the front. Cougars get it. Shot thrown wide of the goal. Both teams still in it, but the Friars really doing a good job around their net, but not necessarily as good a job clearing it as that one is sent the length of the sheet. Graziano at 3 goals entering tonight, now has 4. .140 remaining. Daniel Smith moving that one ahead. Really getting physical here. He's been known for getting a little physical at the younger levels. That shot goes over the net. Friars side of the rink a little bit excited, but nothing to do about that. Cougars enter, or nearly entered. It would have been offsides if they had. Now Monkwitz has to chase. Friars on the attack, and it's Peter Kelly that time. Unable to get it. Cougars coming up ice 3-on-2. Devoted back check from Kelly. Now it's a 3-on-1. Toe drag shot. No! What a move. And the shot just won't go. Monkwitz getting fancy, and he almost got away with it. Here comes Kelly. His shot off the outside of the goal. Might have gotten in a sliver of the pipe. And now here come the Cougars. They just throw that one on net. It was Ian McGee. He's really stepped up this year on offense. Been their leading point getter, averaging a point per game. And Monkwitz is going to chip that one in. Wanted McGee, will settle for getting it in. McGee and Marcharelli really playing a big part this year. And right now, Cougars, despite having only 8 skaters, are tied at 1. 10 seconds remaining in the period. Friars on the attack. Cougars throw that one up the wall. They'll enter. And that will do it for this first period as time expires. Christopher Kanza will take us to the second after recovering that one. Don't go anywhere. It's a 1-1 hockey game on a Friday night in the Suffolk County High School Hockey League. Big thanks to my producer, Rowan Laddick, as we seem to have fixed the stream issues. And an exciting 30 more minutes of hockey coming up. But first, we'll take a quick break for the first intermission. And we're back after one, and it's been an exciting game. And, well, after 15 minutes, it's deadlocked. And, you look at this St. Anthony's team, you look at what they've done this season, and with the long change, they definitely have an advantage this period. But, they've been winning some pretty convincing games, whether you're talking about West Islip or you're talking about Ward Melville. But here tonight, they're deadlocked with the 1-6 Cougars, a shorthanded squad, and as they dump that one in on net, Bonadio is just going to lay it down. This is a Cougars team that has a lot of talent, and it's been on full display here tonight. A lot of losses, but, as that shot is turned aside, there are a couple that are blowouts, but they've also had some real competitive games, and still looking for that second win. And here tonight, they have a chance to maybe pull off an upset against the St. Anthony's teams that's a little shorthanded, but not nearly as shorthanded as Middle Country. Here comes Azariti trying to change that, dancing to the outside. He's forced into the left wing corner. Little give and go, and Azariti's usual running mate over the last couple of years not here, so it was Stuso who seems to have slid into the spot left by Zach Sorrell. That one went all the way down, no icing on the play. Friars fumble it, recovered by Joe Miklich, and a little bit of an uncharacteristic error for him, but nonetheless, here come the Friars, 2-on-1. Back check takes it away, thrown towards the front, but ends up going off the back of the net. Oh, and a big reverse hit that time. No penalty on the play. And either side worse for the wear, so we play on. Friars circling, trying to make something happen here as it ends up in the corner. And that one ends up coming out eventually, and the Friars will regroup in neutral. Here comes Catallo, and there he's offsides. It's just been that kind of night for the Friars, and we've seen some chances for Busa. We've seen some chances, for this Middle Country team as well. And it really speaks to their tenacity, especially with, you look at their top point getters, and, there's no Jack Ullard, there's no Grayson Benoit, there's no, Nicholas Misarula's out, Anthony Clements Jr.'s out. All guys with talent, all guys who can play. And just Martin's, I'm reading this right, third game of the season. He's played pretty well here tonight. Had a pretty solid season last year as well. Here come the Friars in transition. Play is broken up. They have to throw on the brakes at the line, and here comes Middle Country the other way. Pass was just a little bit ahead of Martorello. Friars now in transition, looking up ice. It was a little pass from Carrasco, a shot, and they score. Dominic Tartaglia, it looks like, is going to lead the line, and the Friars make it 2-1, 12:15 remaining in this second period. Just a nice little play from Carrasco Jr. and on the drop, and then Tartaglia just wheels in, quick shot, beats Martin's glove side, and that makes it a 2-1 game. A really solid play for him, and Bob Lund's team has the lead. And just taking advantage of a Cougars roster of only 3 players on the bench. They're never getting a full line change whether they want to or not. And, that leaves time, that leaves space, and the Friars take advantage of it before entering offsides on the following play. Face-off was won back by the Friars and ends up being reset by the Cougars. D to D, and now they'll look up ice. Long pass, and it makes its way through, chipped ahead. Middle Country doing their best on the forecheck. Definitely a little short-handed, obviously, but you can really see the skill with this team. And no disrespect to any past Middle Country roster, you didn't always see this level of talent as that shot goes off the back of the net and is covered by Martins. Bob Lund, Alexander Lund, and Joseph DeLuca, the coaches for the Friars. On the other side, Ryan Munkwitz, Raymond Carmen, and Salvatore Riccio, the coaches for this Cougar squad. Face-off is tied up. Puck comes back to the point. Friars will reset. As Norris had man that shot goes well wide. It will be chased by Jake Nichols. That one goes all the way down. Can't ice it into your own zone, though, so the Friars will have to reset as Kangema unable to make much happen on the forecheck. Some players on this roster did spend some time at Longwood at the JV level, not the varsity level, but the Longwood JV team is pretty competitive. Again, you can only merge 3 school districts, and Sometimes when you put some of these teams together through the draft, they end up having enough talent to really make some things happen out there. Cougars on the attack. That shot's redirected out of play. Taking a look at the standings around the league. This is a 2-1 game right now. What does it mean for the Friars if they win? Well, with just 7 games under their belt, a win here not only moves them ahead of East Islip in the standings, they would also be game and a half ahead of St. Anthony's as that shot turned aside. It's loose, and it's cleared out of the zone. Good chance for the Friars in transition. Cataldo chasing, but the Cougars really have been solid on the back check, and now here they come again. Nice zone entry. Dancing in. Play was broken up, but some really solid play from McGee there. As he got the zone entries. You know, he's kind of built like a... You know, he moves like a bowling ball out there. He's kind of stout. You know, he's a strong kid, and he really knows how to skate. And he just never stops moving. So he comes at you like a wrecking ball, and you see that in transition. It's why he has 8 points this season. Here come the Friars the other way. Cataldo looks for the shot. It's turned aside now. Cougars just trying to steer it away from their goal, and they do for now. Cataldo gets it back, moves it to the point. It's deflected, but doesn't go out of the zone. Miklich moves it along. Friars turning. Cataldo shoots. That goes wide as well. Held in again at the line by Stuso, and he loses the handles. Now he has to regroup with Kansa. Little D-to-D action. Friars now heading up ice. Turnover forced. Cougars have a chance if they can get it, but they cannot, at least initially. And by the time puck is moved up ice, it ends up with the Friars. 9:09 remaining in this second stanza, and even though the Friars have the lead, it's been a fairly even game. Now on the attack, it's Kansa. Throws it towards the front. Ends up with the Cougars, but Friars on the back check, so there's not really going to be an odd man rush as Martorello fires a shot. Heavy shot, that is, but doesn't get on net. Now looking to regroup using his size, but loses his footing in the corner. We get a whistle and a penalty. Looks like we got a trip here, or looks like a hook, actually. So that will send that will not send Martorello to the box, excuse me. It will send the Friars to the kill. Martorello drawing the penalty. Hooking penalty is the call at 8:47, and it's going against Christopher Kansa. Now, Martorello is a real solid skater, real solid kid. You know, he uses his size well. He's done that since the JV level, and before that, he was a real solid player on some of those Pat Med teams that made some pretty deep playoff runs at the JV level. You know, he's been a part of winning teams, and he's just a nice piece for this Cougars squad. As that one comes out to the point, slap shot, bit of a roller there, so Monkwitz will reset. Look D-to-D, now walks in, moves it along. That shot turned aside. Now it's just slapped out of the zone. Good play for the Friars, but pretty solid start to this power play. Just 27 seconds in. Strong forecheck there from Benjamin Carahare, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Carahare, excuse me. Monkwitz now on the attack, on the backhand. Resets, trying to move around the ref, using him as a pick, so he gets around it. Now walks in, shooting. He scores! Declan Monkwitz, the power play goal, and we're knotted at 2. 8 players, 2 goals apiece, and back and forth we go on the LI Sports Network. Monkwitz got caught up with the ref, used it to his advantage, didn't complain, turned around, fired, shot, scored. You know, the officials are part of the field of play. It worked in the Friars' favor at first, but that's just a veteran play by Monkwitz, being able to, you know, I don't want to say use the officials as a pick, because the officials in our league do a great job. They really do. But the reality is, you know, you can get caught in those situations whether you like it or not. And in that case, it really doesn't have that much of a bearing on the play, because it interfered with Monkwitz the first time, but didn't the second time. So it ended up being a net neutral. Monkwitz makes St. Anthony's pay. Bonadio will be changed out of the game after that one. So it looks like Jordan Valsich will head in. real solid netminder for the St. Anthony's team. You know, their program really, you know, they lost Olm Snyder, who was a really good goalie, and you know, Valsich kind of came in after they lost to Smithtown in the county finals and really settled that program. That was a huge asset to them, and now they're counting on him to settle this game down as they're tied at 2 apiece. You know, this isn't a game the Friars expect to be tied in. Ignoring the bodies. Bob Lund will tell you, the Friars are held to a higher standard. They are. They're one of the programs that can win every year. And right now they're tied at 2 with a program that no one expects to do this, but they really are playing well right now as Martins makes another save, another cover. You got to hand it to them. And it's just a sign that things change. They really do. And for this middle country program, they're on the up and up. And Monkwitz getting that last goal, assisted by Ian McGee, both seniors. But there's more talent in the pipeline. It's coming. Friars now on the attack, trying to retake the lead. They trailed early. They ended up finding the back of the net twice, and as it's thrown to the front, makes it out to the point. A shot doesn't go. Second chance. Martins on the stop. Third time is not the charm as Martins extending the pad. We get a whistle. The first goal coming at 9:11 in the first period. Steven Graziano from Michael Martorello and Andrew Kingema. Then Tommy Azarita knots things up at 1:4:17 remaining in the first period. And then Ryan Riggins, his third of the year, assisted by Mauricio Carrasco Jr. and Christopher Kanza before Declan Monkwitz scored on the power play after the hooking penalty committed by Chris Kanza. Shot from the point, turned aside. Bit of a high bouncer there and ends up along the half wall. Friars looking to reset, comes back out to the point for Stucio, and now in the corner. On the half wall now, Busa trying to make a move. Held on to it initially. Eventually, it's just steered away from the slot, and that's really been the story of this game. If you try and get fancy on this Cougars team, they've made you play, as that one proves yet again, trying to slip it through and just know where to go as that shot from an off angle goes well wide of the net. Held in at the point, and the Cougars fire this one out. We've seen upsets in this league before, especially on, you know, Friday, Sunday night games. One of the better examples of the last couple of years has been Smithtown Hauppauge falling to that Connecticut Sayville team a couple of years back. It's just, it doesn't always feel this way, but anybody can win on any given night. And even though this game is tied right now, you can't feel good about it if you're the Friars, because Cougars are hanging around. Puck comes to the point, shot. That one's gloved by Martins. Real solid save on the shot from Kansa. Took the hooking penalty, has an assist in the game, so in a way they wash out, but it certainly doesn't feel that way in the moment. Azaridi in the circle. Wins that back to Kansa. Along the left wing half wall, both teams battling for it. Puck comes up, but not out of the zone. Second chance, it does. Kansa resets, looks D to D, eventually decides just to chip it off the wall, and Cougars get the takeaway right after the zone entry for St. Anthony's. Puck comes out of the zone again. Kansa re-enters, offsides. And every stoppage for a team with less bodies, you know, you don't normally have to talk about it in this league, but tonight we do. And if you feel bad about having 3 guys on the bench, you got to feel for the kids on KPC's freshman squad when they had 0 guys on the bench the entire game, played with 5, lost 4-3. 3 guys on the bench is not easy. So every stoppage this Cougars team gets is going to help them slow the pace of this thing down, and that's only going to help them. Friars on the zone entry. Cougars will chase. Turnover is forced, thrown towards the front. Comes out towards the point. Kansa can't get it. Martorello can't either. Shot turned aside by Martins. Kicked out into the corner on the chase. Tartaglia ends up being thrown around the wall. Puck comes to Kansa again as it just rolled past him, and 5:20 remaining in this period. Mr. Rule on the chase that time along with Kircher. Friars getting a shot from the outside and can't get it on net. Smith looking for the redirect, and now the puck comes back out again. Justin Norris, the rangy Friars defenseman, and now here come the Cougars again. 3-on-2 if they hurry. Martorellio drops it off. Shot, and that one's gloved. That is the steadying presence of Jordan Valsic, and there wasn't really much you could ask Bonadio to do on either of those goals, but Valsic is just a real stellar netminder, and we've seen it in the past. We've seen it consistently from him. Face-off is won by the Friars, but Cougars forcing a turnover, thrown, shot over the net. Martorellio, his shot, and that goes just wide after settling it. Good effort from the Middle Country power forward. That one, redirected shot, turned aside. Valsic, another chance, another shot, another chance, and it's still loose. Eventually ends up in the pads of a Friar, now heading up ice. They have numbers if they hurry, and they do. Busa curling away along the half wall, looking for the shot, can't find it. Ends up in the corner, thrown towards the front again. Puck comes out of the zone. Here they come, one-on-one. Mano-y-mano. Pulling up. And that shot goes well wide. A nice little stutter step, but just a hair wide if he had shot it an inch the other way. And then another shot turned aside. Valsic. And Bonadio might not have been a fault, but pulling him for Valsic, you can see why he did it. It's nothing against Bonadio. Valsic is just arguably the best goaltender in this league. Thrown towards the front, turned aside. Rebound is also turned aside. It's still loose, and Martins gets away with one. And another shot, this one from the point. Martins definitely going a little far down and ends up making a couple saves. Harder to slide each time you make one of those stops. And his team comes to his defense on the third attempt. Cougars unable to hold the zone. Here come the Friars in transition, but a nice poke check takes away the controlled rush. And now the Cougars will reset, and again, every second, every opportunity like that counts. Coming in the Friars, a shot, and that one goes wide of Martin's cage. Cougars with another chance, arm in the air for, looks like a delayed offsides behind the play. No Valsic, it looks like they have an empty net. Friars on the attack. Cougars can't touch up, but yeah, they got 6 guys on the ice. This is a long delayed penalty. Carrasco Jr., you can see the empty net. Here come the Friars, across the red line. Kansa poked away, and that's going to do it for pretty extended 6-on-5. Sends the Cougars to the kill, but you know, that extended of a 6-on-5, you're going to take that if you're a coaching staff. So that'll end that. Gives the Cougars a chance to really reset. You take a look at the varsity stats leaders. It's really a who's who of, you know, looking up and down. It's been a pretty impressive year for a lot of guys, whether you're talking about Evan Lafata really stepping into that Anatra role after a year or two, Marcus DeRico, Cameron Calber, and really the list goes on. A lot of the top goal scorers in this league, though I didn't mention any of them in this game right now. Walking in a shot, and that one goes off the glass. Speaking of top goal getters, Tommy Azzariti. Cougars wrapping it around a bit of a interesting PK move. You could kind of see. You could hear the Cougar side of the ice a little surprised, but it ended up working out. And now Catallo on the attack. His shot ends up careening off the glass again. And here comes Busa. Once averaged 2 goals a game at the JV level. Moving that one towards the front and ends up being cleared out. He's got a nose for the net. He's just one of those guys with the type of skill that you need late in games. Knows how to get to the net, likes to go to the net. Not afraid of the dirty areas. And a minute into this kill, we have it heading all the way back down to the other side. Face-off is controlled, at least initially, by the Cougars. And again, every second counts after the penalty to McGee for hooking. And that's a guy who can really kill penalties for this Cougars squad. So it's a real testament to their kill that they've been able to do this well without him. As that shot's turned aside, thrown up in front, and we get a whistle. Looks like that's going to be for a hand pass, not a penalty. So that will take us to 1:11 in this second period. The penalty to McGee, putting the Friars on the power play, but just about 41 seconds. No, I'm bad at math. It looks like that's 39 seconds. I added instead of subtracted. That was great. So either way, mental math wasn't there, but just about. 39 seconds to go on this kill. Puck comes out to the point. Kansa holds it in, walking in Catallo. Another guy off a nose for the net, but this one's turned aside by Martins. And the one thing about Martins is he doesn't move very much, and it sounds weird to say, but he doesn't bite at anything. And that's a real asset for a netminder. Kansa will give and go. Well, without the give, and Catallo will walk in now. Less than 10 seconds to go on this power play. Throws it towards the slot. A shot that's blocked. Martins covers it. And just, a bit of an awkward angle there. Got deflected, has to move around one of his defenders, but gets the cover. 3 seconds remaining on this kill. If you're the Cougars, you want a quick win, quick or clear, because you want to get it off before the clock hits 32 seconds. And looking at the game clock, it might actually be closer to 38, so a little bit more time if you're the Cougars, and that's exactly what you want. You get it out there, goes all the way down, get back to 5-on-5, under 30 seconds to go. Right now, the game has been breaking Middle Country's way. Can't clear the zone, just thrown back in. Smart play for Middle Country now. Under 15 seconds to go, just going to throw this one around the wall. Strong pinch effort, holds that one in as well. Middle Country just trying to grind this one out, and we will head to the third period. Monkwitz throwing on the brakes there a little bit under pressure, but after 2, we're tied at 2 on the LI Sports Network, and when we come back for the third period, it's anyone's hockey game. For my amazing producer, Rowan Laddick, we couldn't do without them. My name's Jack Ziskin, back on the call here tonight. 15 minutes to go. We're going to take a quick break for the second intermission. And we are getting set here for the start of the third and potentially final period of this hockey game. But as it stands, this one would require overtime. 8 Cougars taking on, well, as I said, I'm not that bad at math. No, I am that bad at math. I'm not that good at it, was what I meant to say, but I'm not that good at English either. So 8 Cougars, 15 Friars. I get a little tongue-tied with that one. It's a 2-2 hockey game on the LI Sports Network. Once again, for my amazing producer, Rowan Laddick, my name is Jack Ziskin, and we're going to be taking you through what could be the last 15 minutes of this call. Cougars trying to pull off the upset on a Friday night here at the rinks in Hauppauge, New York. I've continuously been praising my producer because they are a one-man band here tonight. I am calling this game remotely. I am an emergency alternate broadcaster, so you get what you get. You don't get upset as the Friars gain possession right off the draw, and spinning away from pressure was Jake Nichols. Moves that one to the weak side, but it's a turnover. Cougars enter, but can't get the shot off. Strong back check there from Benjamin Caraher. Caraher, excuse me. Now the Cougars in transition. It's a 1-on-5. Monkwitz trying to make something happen. Doesn't get it the first time, but he forces a turnover. Here comes Middle Country. Well, they sort of did. Anywho, Friars recover. 40 seconds have elapsed in this third and potentially final period. Don't forget to follow the @LI Sports Network on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We had a TikTok once. Then it was shut down. Then it wasn't shut down, and now TikTok is just there. So we don't really use that anymore. But we got everything else. You should definitely follow us. Both teams just jockeying for possession. Neither really settling it down as that hot potato is just sent all the way down the length of the ice. Valsich just comes out to play it. And that leads to a pretty solid sequence for the Friars. And now wheeling down ice, it's Azaridi. Backhand shot, punched out, and then just punched into the corner quite literally. At the very least, palmed into the corner. Here's Azaridi again, trying to make a move. And when you get too fancy on this Cougars team, they make you pay. Here comes Martorellio. His shot doesn't go. Second attempt. Not much there either. Friars now heading up ice. Trying to slip through, and again, when you get too fancy on this Middle Country team, as they send it all the way down on net for Valsich, who fires a long saucer pass. That was caught by Catal. That's impressive. I don't think even – I'm not talking about receiving that pass. I'm talking about making it. That was just pretty incredible work from the Friars netminder, having a little bit of fun with the puck. Definitely an Igor Shesterkin fan. You can tell that. Only one goalie in the league moves the puck that way, and I say that as an Islanders fan. Cougars resetting, 12:22 remaining. Zone exit for Middle Country, but they can't get it in deep. So the Friars are going to reset. Nick Busa, and he turns it over. Here come the Cougars. Shot on goal is turned aside by Valsich. Good positional save. And now here in the neutral zone, Cougars trying to settle it. Friars poking at it and eventually forcing Misserule back into his own zone. And now he'll try and reset. Friars provide pressure. They force a turnover. A shot that goes wide of Martin's cage. Cougars getting a little bit too fancy with those reversals, and it's a two-way street when you just try and do a little bit too much against a good hockey team, or really any team in this league. You just can't do it at this level. Puck comes up but not out of the zone. Kansa holding it in. Puck comes back around. Carrasco Jr. on it. It's turned aside, poked away, goes right past the outstretched stick of Kansa. So no icing as that one just trickles down. It pretty much went under his stick or through it. Had a real solid game, just didn't have it that time. 11-11 and counting. Kansa moving left to right. Fires a shot. That one's kicked out. On the rebound, it's sent back into the zone by Dylan Schlitt. Friars on the forecheck. Riggins and Kansa just pinned in there, and Cougars come away with it. 2-on-2, here we go. Drifting towards center, sliding through, can't get back to it. Good solid positional defense by the Friars. Right move, right idea, just couldn't get through that time against a really solid defensive team. And now here's a turnover forced by Graziano. He's attacking, but Kansa will use his big frame to escape. Thrown around. Cougars really aggressive here with just over 10 minutes remaining in regulation. 2-2 hockey game on the LI Sports Network. And now here comes St. Anthony's. Pass across. Wanted Carrasco Jr. Didn't get him. Held in. Good pinch from the point. Now walking in, but it's turned aside. And another chance. Another pass sent towards the front, but it's forced outside. And now the Friars forced to reset, trying to just crowd the front of the net, but the Cougars force the clear. Doesn't make it all the way out to Varsity, but that saves them. Then another shot from the outside. That's just gloved by Martins. And you'll take that if you're Middle Country. Every stoppage, every second that they can just let tick away. If you score too soon, it's like the end of it. You're at the end of a football game at this point. The Cougars score too early, and I mean this. St. Anthony's will respond. If you score under 5 minutes, I'd say 50-50 chance you can pull this one out. If you score under 3 minutes and don't give one up, that's your sweet spot. That's where you can put the Friars in a position where they've never really been before. Not down a goal with 3 minutes left. They've been there. Down a goal to this team. And here it comes. A chance for the Cougars. Coming in. A shot and a save from Varsity. Thrown back to the front. Another chance. Another save. And it's still loose. Thrown towards the front. Comes out towards Monkwitz. He shoots. Turned aside. It's blocked through traffic. And now here come the Friars the other way. Garaher to the outside. His shot kicked out by Martin. Steered away. Flipped up and out of the zone on the backhand. Nice little saucer pass. Friars regrouping. Cougars with a good chance, and puck comes out of the zone. Puck comes out in the slot, but Friars unable to really get on it. They're not really pouncing on pucks. You know, there's a lot of roster turnover from last year, and there's no SCHSHL here tonight, but as the Friars reset, you can see that the urgency just has to be a little bit higher if they're going to pull out a win here tonight. And now driving up the ice, it's Azaridi. It's poked away. He gets it back. A shot. No. A second chance. No. They don't get it. It's poked up, but not out of the zone the first time. The second time, and it gets out. Now here's a chance. Martorellio resets it off the wall, held in the zone, fired from a distance. Looks like Varsity caught that one with his shoulder. So the shoulder catch in this game, a couple chances there for the St. Anthony's. If you're Middle Country, you take this offensive zone face-off, and if you can win it, you want to hold this puck in here for about 45 seconds. You're not holding it longer, but sustained zone time. Whoever can have more sustained offensive zone time, I know, crazy take, will probably win this game. And right now, that team's been the Friars. So if the Cougars want to pull off an upset, that means possession. That shot, they score! I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I'm sure. Tommy Azaridi makes Middle Country pay. And just like that. You see Busa driving to the front here. Doesn't get there. Puck comes all the way out into the slot. And there's just nothing Martins can do. That's too quick, too much movement, and all of a sudden, just like that, the Cougars trail once again. Now Middle Country has to score 2 goals in the next 7 minutes and 41 seconds. That goal from Azaridi, assisted by Anthony Catallo. We get a whistle and a timeout called. So we'll take a quick break for this timeout. We'll be right back. 7:41 remaining in this third period. As it stands, the Cougars trail by 1. They led by 1 at one point. They tied it up in the second after the Friars took the lead. Bob Lund's squad now looking to escape Friday's game with the win. Otherwise, they risk having East Islip or KPC just climb and climb. And even Sachem, that has 2 more losses than St. Anthony's right now. Nothing can be taken for granted as that shot from an off angle is turned aside by Varsity. It's thrown to the front. Another shot, another chance, another shot. They score! Middle Country scores 21 seconds later after the timeout. We're tied at 3. What a chance. What a response. You see the first chance. But if at first you don't succeed, try again. And the Cougars, Steven Graziano from Nicholas Misarella. It's tied at 3. That is the type of response that Middle Country has been looking for. Not just this game, not just this season, but in their history. Thrown towards the front. That one's poked aside. Puck comes back out. It's loose, and the Cougars steer it away because that's what they do tonight. When they need to get the puck out of the zone as they send it out of play, they do. Face-off is tied up. Cougars get the clear. Goes through to the fence all the way down, so no icing. Under 7 minutes remaining. We're tied at 3 yet again. The Friars led, but they led for 22 seconds. Play is broken up. Here comes Middle Country. Busa getting physical at the line. 6:32 now, and every second counts. Every second counts twice as much for the Cougars as they have 8 players here tonight. They're tied at 3 with the defending county champions. And Zach Sorrell, or nobody expected this here tonight. Shot towards the front, kicked out. Puck comes up, down, and now it's a foot race. Here come the Friars on a breakaway. Forehand back in, denied! Andrew Martin shuts the door on Tommy Azariti. And it remains 3-3, no icing on the play, and we hit the 6-minute mark of this third period. If the Cougars pull this one off, Andrew Martin's kick save will be their defining moment. Forcing a turnover here. 2-on-2 as that pass just a little bit ahead of Mr. Rula, but he recovers it, comes in, looking for the front. Can't find it. Nobody there. Catalo, however, for the Friars, always circling, always looking for a goal. A turnover's forced again. Here comes Middle Country. Spinning away, a shot, turned aside. Valsic had to look down and check. He doesn't do that often. And, Valsic is a pretty good goaltender and spent a long time in this Long Island Goals organization that has produced some pretty good players as well. And now here tonight, turning aside another one. He's all that stands between St. Anthony's and what would essentially be a disaster for this program and the start of something really special for Middle Country. Friars forcing a turnover. Here comes Tartaglia. And that shot glances off the glove, rolls over the top of the net. Uncharacteristic, but this time around, the flubbed catch doesn't cost them. Monkwitz had that one dumped in. Here come the Cougars. Turnover was forced. Spinning, turning, firing. McKee's shot is wide. Now Martorellio threw it towards the front. On the back check, though, the Cougars know they can't give the Friars any chances in transition. 4:30 remaining, and the play has been remarkably even in terms of possession time. Kangema on the forecheck. The urgency for Middle Country is real, and the Friars now under pressure to deliver. Here comes Middle Country again. A lot of moves, a turnovers forced, but again, the Cougars save it. They get it out. We'll hit the 4-minute mark. And now another chance in transition. The Friars, they can't settle it. Catalo tied up. Gets pretty physical in the corner. You can hear one fan shouting very loudly, but that doesn't have any impact on anything. And once again, the play just continues. It's 3-3, flipped up, out of the zone. Friars are going to have to check up. Delayed offsides, delayed no longer. Friars, 3:33 remaining. It's a 3-3 hockey game. Puck held in at the line. Blocked shot. Puck comes back out. Resetting along the half wall. Across the weak side. Pass can't connect. 3:22 now remaining. Puck comes up. Not out of the zone. They played the body. Now here comes Middle Country. Chipping that one in. If they score with under 3 minutes left, this game entirely changes for the Cougars. They'll be defending a lead against the most dominant team of the last half decade. Most dominant team since their return to the SCHSHL. Friars, stretch pass. Here they come in transition to the outside. Plays broke up. Catalo, weak side. Can't connect on the pass. Rather, can't connect for the one-timer. Now it comes to Miklich. It's broken up. Can he save it? He does. Friars now still chasing. Thrown towards the front. Picked off, but can't be recovered. Backhand shot. Well wide of the net. Monkwitz under pressure. Just settles that one down. Thrown up. Out of the zone. Going to go all the way down. They'll take the icing. 2:24 remaining in this third period. It's a 3-3 hockey game on the LI Sports Network. Now we get a whistle. .223 remaining. Both teams have used their timeouts. St. Anthony's trying to drive towards the front. That puck is flipped up and out of the zone. Icing is the call. We get a whistle. 11:32 is the time of night. 2:09 remaining in this game. This is not where anybody expected to be at this point. This Cougars team is 1-6 on the season. This Friars team is 6-1. This Cougars team has 8 skaters. The Friars have 15. It's tied at 3. Puck comes to the point. It's held in. 2 minutes remaining now. Cougars up. Out of the zone. They can't maintain possession. Busa flips that one ahead. 2-on-2. Trailer gets in late. Cougars flipped up. Out. Here's a chance. In transition. It's a breakaway. Coming in. Forehand. They score. Don't score. It's loose in front. They get another chance. No. Backhanded towards the front. Cougars had a golden opportunity to win this game, and if they miss and they don't win, that's going to haunt them. Under 1:30 to go. Golden opportunity for Middle Country. Friars handed up on a silver platter. Here comes Catalo. His shot turned aside by Martins. Puck is loose beneath the goal line now along the half wall. Cougars head manning it. A lot on that one, but not enough for icing. 2-on-1. Walking in. Poke check by Valsic. Misses. To the front. A shot. Loose. Rebound. No. 1:05 remaining now. Both teams battling for it. Cougars on the attack. Thrown towards the front. Comes across the slot. Cougars got to get back in transition. Friars pressing. Under a minute to go. Drop pass to Azariti. He can't settle it. He was handcuffed. And now here comes Middle Country. Monkwitz. If anyone can do it, it's him. Dropping it off. Middle Country still pressing. Firing. That shot was deflected at the point of release. Catalo on it. Stick lift won't work, but he's coming in 1-on-3. 33 seconds to go. Tied at 3. Shot was turned aside by Martins. Now 30 seconds. Thrown up the wall. Middle Country. Gonna dump that one in on net. Valsic. He plays it. Friars pressing. 20 seconds now remaining. Barely getting the zone exit. Looking for it. Puck comes up. Zone entry for Kansas. Now Tartaglia. His shot. Poked out into the corner. Beneath the goal line. Now along the half wall. Friars looking for a shot. They get it. It goes wide. Around the wall. Puck comes up. It comes out. We're going to overtime! Middle Country forces overtime against St. Anthony's, and we got 5 more minutes of bonus hockey on the docket. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Suffolk County High School Hockey League action on the LI Sports Network. Five minutes to go on the LI Sports Network. Bonus hockey, overtime. Both teams securing a point here tonight. And 4-on-4, so now the Cougars have a full line change for the first time tonight. Jordan Valsic entered the game to replace Bonadio, and it wasn't Bonadio's fault, but if not for Valsic, this game would be over. Here come the Friars, 4:33 remaining in overtime. Azariti circling. Pulls up, he doesn't want to take the shot. Didn't like the angle he has. Second chance he does, but that one, nothing to write home about. Here come the Cougars, that's a long pass to nowhere. But it takes a favorable bounce. Here's a chance for Graziano on the forecheck, but he's got to hurry against Duyuso. Now it comes to Azariti. He's under pressure. Cougars can keep the Friars in their own zone if they hurry. Azariti dancing. Right to left he goes. Cuts back towards the center. Friars with a chance. Cutting in on the backhand. Looking for it. Tied up in front. This isn't destiny. I don't know what is. And Middle Country has a chance as Monkwitz seems to think he was high stick. Nonetheless, Middle Country has to get out. They turn it over. It's a 2-on-0 across a shot over the net. 2:32. Cougars have to get it now. Chipped ahead. Friars have it. Middle Country on the defensive. Shot stopped by Mortons. 2:20 remaining. Make that 2:19. No one expected this game to end in a tie. The Cougars have a chance to win. Monkwitz baits Karaher, leaves him in his dust. Racing up ice, actually has time to slow down, speeds back up, steps into a shot, stopped by Valsic. I don't think Monkwitz is going to get off the ice for the remainder of this game. If I had to guess, Declan Monkwitz will finish the next 2 minutes. Face-off is one, D to D. Monkwitz wants the shot, doesn't like what he has. Throws it on net. Just a little trickler. Wanted to get a redirect. Doesn't get it, obviously, but that's a smart play for Monkwitz. He gets another offensive zone draw. They get to set up again. The face-off is controlled by Middle Country. Shielding it beneath the goal line. Thrown towards Monkwitz. He steps into one. Shot is turned aside. It was redirected. St. Anthony's getting a piece of it. Otherwise, that might have gone top shelf. You can see where Monkwitz is looking. Puck comes out of the zone. Cougars got to get back. It's a breakaway. Otherwise, Catalo. His shot turned aside. Rebound. No. Stick lift twice. Monkwitz chasing after it. But he's not just playing defense. He's trying to play offense. Monkwitz on the attack in neutral. He helps force the turnover. Here comes the 2-on-2. Cougars. Shot goes wide. They have to keep it from going all the way down. They can't. Monkwitz now has to pick up the pace. Catalo coming in. He's forced down. No call on the play. Monkwitz backhands it around the wall. We have 1 minute remaining. Just over that. Carried into the corner. Riggins throws it across. Puck comes out towards the point. Held in. Stuyuso carries it in. Beneath the goal line now. Under a minute to play. Cougars on the defensive in their zone, trying to force a turnover. Graziano on it. Support from Riggins. Unable to force the turnover. Monkwitz, however, gets involved. Now a chance. A shot, a save from Martins. 44 seconds remaining in this overtime period. It all comes down to this. Either way, Middle Country can hold their heads high against a Friars team that might not lose more than one more game this season. It comes back to the point. Kansas' shot is redirected. He gloves it down. Steps into one. Shot over the net. Whipped around the wall. Here comes Stuyuso. He steps into it. We have now hit the 30-second mark of overtime. Cougars trying to force a turnover, but at a certain point, you're just trying to defend your goal if they can't get it soon. Here come the Friars on the attack. Shot. That one's redirected. Ends up wide. Cougars trying to force a turnover. Puck comes across the zone, racing after it. Azariti wins that foot race 9 times out of 10, but not that time. Held in at the line. Pulling up, under 10 seconds remaining. Azariti to the back door. It's broken up, thrown up, out. And that's it. 3-3 tie. And probably the most exciting tie you'll see of the season. Cougars survive. Friars denied a second point. And just like that, we got a season. St. Anthony's moving ahead of East Islip in the standings, but not in the way they expected. It's a tie against the Middle Country Cougars. This is a game changer for the league standings. They will move ahead of East Islip by 1. They will move ahead of Sachem by 1. They have half a game in hand over Sachem, no games in hand over East Islip. And if you're Middle Country, you're on the outside looking in right now, but now you know you can play with anybody, and that's what they're going to take out of tonight. This season just changed. Final score from the rinks, 3-3, Middle Country versus St. Anthony's. You heard that correctly. David fought Goliath to a standstill on the LI Sports Network. For my amazing producer, Rowan Laddick, I would like to extend our thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. Make sure to follow the @LI Sports Network on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or X if you still call it that. But once again, for Rowan Laddick, my name is Jag Ziskin. Thank you so much for joining us. Final score, 3-3, David versus Goliath, Middle Country versus St. Anthony's.